Hey, AMPM, what's up,
Hey,
bro?
what's up, man? How's it
Hey,
going?
good man. Thank you first of all for joining the live and taking time out of your day. I know you're a business owner. You run a print shop, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. My name's Paul, by the way. Your name's Josh, right?
Yeah, Paul. Okay, nice to meet you,
Nice to
Paul.
meet you, man.
Yeah. I watched I watched part one and part two of your videos, and I love it. I mean,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people doing this shit and not talking about it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They're probably making money hand over fist, and it's kind of sad, right? People really blasted me for talking about this, but I feel like it's important that the community knows that this is possible and to really check their cards, right, before
yeah.
they're buying stuff because this happens, man. So, what made you think of the idea or start that video?
So basically, first off, hey, I just want to say thanks for inviting me on. I've been watching your. So I My friend sent me a link to you and what's your other friend's
Uh,
name?
Sebastian, yeah.
Yeah, sent me a link to the podcast. He said he just randomly found it and was like, "Hey, I know this guy." And so he sent me the link, and I watched the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." So you guys are in the I don't know how to say it. Either is card altering or card restoration space.
Uh, I call it card restoration industry, but that's
Yeah,
just a personal term because I think the word altering is dirty. Like
yeah,
I'd love to hear your take on this, Paul, but I feel like altering is coloring and trimming. Like if you're going to that extent, that's kind of taking it too far. But maybe
yeah,
like fixing indents, dings, polishing. In some sense, polishing is even gray area, maybe. But bottom line, like a real like black and white thing, I feel like you know, fixing whitening. Which, by the way, I know people who have done this. They wouldn't tell me how,
yeah,
but I have heard of people doing this before, and I'm like, that's a little shady.
yeah.
Like, I hope you're keeping that card for your personal or
I
something because.
totally agree. I'll tell you what I so I got sent. I'm in different. I'm part of this community, Pokemon, and I have different friend groups, and one of my friend groups has like a message thread on like Instagram, and one of my friends sent a link, and it had a Tyranitar card, and it was basically the some Tyranitar Instagram community was showing and speculating that this certain Tyranitar card got cracked, and it was a PSA. I don't know, 6, 7. I don't remember but essentially the one had all the same hollow patterns, and the first one, the original that they showed, had white specks in all, like pretty much all four corners. And then the one that they're saying they think is the same card because the cert number disappeared off PSA. And
Interesting.
yeah, so they were speculating that someone fixed it. And when I saw that, I immediately, because I've never thought about this before, but I immediately thought, wait a second. I mean, I could do that. And so I thought about it, and I told my daughter and some other my parents. I was like, I think I'm about to make a viral video. And I did it, and I don't know, I just kind of made it, uh brainstorming and thinking how I thought that people might do that if they knew anything about printing. And I guess, I don't know, it went freaking crazy. It has like over 60,000 views right now, and yeah,
Yeah.
but
You know how I found out about it? I was just on YouTube and it was recommended, and here's you holding, you know,
wow, yeah.
the can. Like, by the way, I didn't do it the way you did it, but I just went to Home Depot and got me some Pokemon Blue, is what they said. But I love
Home Depot.
the thumbnail you chose is awesome, where you're just like
Yeah,
that. I think that was a huge hook. But I was like, what is this? And so I watched it. And dude, I was hooked. I mean, I very rarely watch like 20-minute videos. I
yeah.
watch every second of it. And then I saw you had a part two. I was like, I'll watch that too. Which of course people were blasting you. I could tell you were frustrated in that
Oh
second part,
man,
you
dude.
know.
Well, because
Yeah.
I'm new to YouTube as it is, anyways, and so I'm not, I don't all, I don't know if I don't know how to say alter or. I'm not part of that. So, and a lot of people were thinking that I was like, I don't know if they don't have ears, most people. You know how trolls are. It's just like they don't listen, or just they don't even, they just look at the thumbnail and then comment something not
For
without even
sure.
watching it. They definitely say things. And I'm like, wait, if you would have listened, you would have heard I wasn't recommending anyone do this, but I know
Yeah.
you know because I've been watching your content lately, and you sell kits?
Yeah, so about maybe a year or two ago, I noticed nobody was really talking about this, and so I decided to make my own lane like you did
Yeah,
and talk about what nobody wants to talk about, right? Card restoration and like it's just strange. Every other industry is okay with restoring a painting or an antique, but for some reason the card collector community is like adamantly against like if you drop your card on the ground and
yeah,
you accidentally ding it, you're not supposed to touch it after that. That's wild, right? The act of you dropping the card and dinging it in the first place then is considered altering by that like
yeah. Logic.
mindset.
Yeah,
So, again, like, I started to say, well, what would be interesting is why don't, because here's the deal. If it's just me doing it, I'm not going to grow the experimental kind of mindset here of because this is all Wild West stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
and by having a bigger community that does this, we're all going to benefit because some people are going to figure out new things that, for example, I'm not sure if you saw it, Paul, but there's a pretty cool thing where somebody figured out how to use like a heat pen, and then I started experimenting with it, and it's pretty neat. So like if you crease your card, you can use heat basically to like reduce the crease and stuff like that.
No way. It's
Yeah,
like wizardry, man.
for sure.
That's
But what's
so
even
cool.
more bizarre is like depending on the era of card, the card reacts differently. It's
Interesting.
it's dude. It's interesting. So when you even so here's one thing about the whitening thing, Paul, and I'm sure you could agree to this.
Okay.
Everyone and okay, first of all, how many people have asked you for the Pantone color?
You
Hundreds,
have
probably, right?
no idea. I was not ready. Can you fix my card? If I send you money, can you send me the ink? Can you tell me the ink color? I said no. No, no, I don't I just want to make YouTube videos. I
Hey,
people are like,
oh
yeah.
yeah, Suge Nasty is in the chat here. He was one of the guys that was talking about all of this too. Shout out Suge
Yeah,
Nasty.
shout
He's got a
out
YouTube.
Shug. He's one of my
Yeah.
friends. His name's Josh too. He's one of my friends. He's
Oh hell
actually
yeah.
the one who sent me y'all's video.
Oh no way. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, you've been getting blown up about that. Yeah, I'm sure. But okay, so with that said, the interesting part about Pokemon is each shade of blue is slightly different. Like, okay, maybe from you buy a
Yes.
box, most of the blues in that box are probably going to be the same because there was the same sheet, there was the
Yes.
same amount of ink,
Exactly.
etc. But you could have something that got printed maybe a year later,
Lighter.
and it's yeah,
Slightly.
yeah.
Not
So
even. Yeah. Just and that the reason is because of that is when you're running that for that long, sometimes like think about in the middle of a run, say they're running 100,000 sheets, and at 50,000 the pressman forgets to put more blue in the head that has the blue ink that's running the blue plate, and it might get a little light, or some of the chemicals that keep the plate clean might be running low, and they took a second to, you know what I'm saying?
for
So it
sure.
could get light within a run.
Because there's called ghost stamps for first edition, like a first edition ghost stamp. All that is the printer was running out of the black ink to make those first edition stamps, and
Yeah.
eventually it ran
Yeah.
out, and they were like, okay, like whatever. Because once first edition, like I feel like this is how WotC did it, like Wizards of the Coast. They just dumped a bunch of black ink, and they said, when this runs out, we're done with first edition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
probably that's how they thought of first edition was once
Yeah.
the ink runs out, then we're done with first edition, or something like that. Because that's
Feels
why
like
there's a
that.
bunch of
Yeah.
these gray stamps, ghost stamps, whatever they want to call it. But yeah, so I mean, same point, right? Like the that's why on some cards they are more vibrant, even like with the colors themselves. Like you could be running out or whatever. So yeah, everyone that's asking for a Pantone color, stop, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of what you do, Paul. Is you could probably just look at something and immediately be able, like, I saw this one YouTube video, or not a YouTube but a reel or something, this guy in, I don't know, some for Asia or some shit, but he's sitting there when he's got 1,000 colors in front of him and he can match any color
Wow.
and he just looks at it for like 10 seconds and then you start seeing him mix all these colors
Wow.
and then he shakes it up, mixes it up, and bam, it's like the exact same
That's
color. But my point is
crazy.
there's an art to it, so I'm sure you have a lot of experience with that, right? I mean,
Yeah, I just I definitely did not expect. I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't realize how. And also, golly, you got you have some kind of gall because I'm telling you what, the Pokemon community, certain people in it, freaking hate what you do. Completely hate it.
oh
Hate
yeah,
it.
yeah, that's why I got to keep that thing on me when I go to card shows.
Hey man, I just gotta say, I'm just gonna give my opinion. I honestly could care less. I think it's kind of great. I don't do it. I don't really even grade Pokemon anymore. I used to, but I I think that if you can take a card that is pretty bad and make it a little better, and it not well, people's problems is they think it's going to show up in years to come, but I don't. I mean, I don't really think that, but I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't
Well,
care. I think it's cool.
yeah. That's what I try to think of with my restoration methods, and that's why I'm not like everyone's asking, are you gonna put the paint on the shop? And I'm like, no. Like I've always said from the beginning, I'm not gonna color cards or trim cards. Like those are two, but I have to know about this stuff. So that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me make people aware because, one thing I found interesting, for example, so in fact, let's do it right now. Even though this isn't the exact same blue color, I'll just show people real quick. So
Yeah,
Paul kind of showed you used ink. I'm using paint. So,
yeah.
you probably know the more science behind the differences there, but I don't know. Yours seemed almost like a honey consistency, like very thick compared to paint, which is maybe water
Big time.
based or
Yeah.
something. But I've got the blue paint here. We've got this, and you just like in your video, it was beautiful. I was just like, holy cow. This
Yeah.
this is probably a bad example because you probably want to only do like if somebody's doing this, and this is what I've heard from people who did do this. It's a perfect card, and there's one white dot in the corner, which is
Exactly.
notorious, right?
It
Like there's
sucks,
tons of
dude.
nines out
It
there.
sucks. It
Yeah,
sucks.
there's tons of nines out there, especially with vintage WotC cards, where just the factory cut just dings a little bit one corner, and you got a white dot now, and that automatically is a nine, right? So what Paul showed is, he used ink, but I'm using, oh,
Hey,
it already dried on my
that's
finger. That's funny. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that's the
So
thing. Yeah, ink doesn't dry that quickly. It has to be super thin for it to dry super fast. Isn't that crazy, dude? Did it?
and then once it dries, you can't even see it anymore. It blends right in.
That is actually incredible that it's paint and not ink. Because I know when I made the video, I didn't know that it was gonna work. I just kind of was guessing, and
Now,
when I did it, it blew my mind.
that's what when I saw your video, I'm like, is this clickbait? Nothing against you, Paul, but
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, is this
no,
clickbait or whatever, right? Because,
kind
and then
of.
I'm like, holy shit, this guy's onto something, like. But anyway, it's scary. Like,
Yeah,
people have already messaged me like the economy shit. People are going to be trying to use this to scam people, blah blah blah. And I'm like, people
already,
are already
they're
doing
doing it.
this.
Already
So
doing it.
you just blew up the news that what people are already, doing. And so, they want to call us bad actors all day long, but bottom line, I think it's better to be
Aware.
aware than to be blissfully
Exactly.
ignorant of what's going
Exactly.
on,
Yeah. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of that video was I was trying to just say, hey, I think this is how it's being done. And it probably, I mean, when you pretty much showed that it doesn't even have to be ink, paint. But
That was all white at the top.
the
Yeah,
only,
it's
uh,
insane.
the only thing that I would say about if they people use paint, which I'm not recommending anybody do this, but I don't care if
Yeah.
you do or not. But I don't know how paint like that the ink that I'm talking about is exactly what is used on the card. And
Right.
so I don't know how paint would age.
Right.
Do you get what I
Right.
mean?
Your method would probably be better. Absolutely. I just didn't want to be going and buying like
Yeah,
I saw the brand Prestige and I was like, maybe I should buy. And I was like, you know what?
just
Let
do
me just try to pick up something. And yeah, sure enough, it came out really good. But same, bottom line, um, and let me ask you because I wanted to ask you a question because we did this on the podcast and we did this method, right? And what I noticed was that if you do it just right under the naked eye when you're looking at the edge of the card, you can't see like
no,
obvious marks, right?
no.
Like, because I bought like cards on eBay. I get them in the mail. I thought they were mint, and somebody took a blue Sharpie to
Yeah,
them, and you can see the blue
you can
mark
tell
like
that definitely.
bleeding through, right? But this, if you do it just right, it doesn't really bleed through. But what I noticed was I put it under super magnification with my like microscope, right? And I could see the ever so tiny little white spot like bleeding in. And I remember you talking about like there's ways to have it prevent from bleeding in as well. And so that's where I was like, yeah, you could probably like use a varnish or something like that, or basically wherever the white is, putting some sort of coat, maybe hodgepodge or Mod Podge
Yeah,
or whatever. That way it doesn't bleed into the card and kind of just like you have like that protection between the paper and that paint area. And I was like,
get
you know
it.
what,
Yeah,
I'm leaving it here. I'm not diving any deeper into this. I just kind of wanted to be like, this is going on, be careful.
me
But
neither.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I'm not gonna make any more videos on it because I think I already did. But I'll drop something crazy just for you because I think you're a nice guy. A lot of the people in my comment sections were saying like, "Oh, PSA would like someone just literally said PSA can detect using blue light." I've heard
nope.
the card, the ink that I'm talking about is printing
Yeah.
ink. Pokemon cards are made with that ink. It's the same, it's the DNA same thing. And yes, there is and then other people were saying like, but it's a dot matrix, or they'd use fancy words, and I could tell they either chat GPT'd it or like Googled it because that what they were saying, like they were saying like, oh, it's PS or Pokemon cards are used printing the dot matrix method and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I know, guy. Like it's called a screen.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Where
dots
they,
is called a
yeah.
screen. That's what I call it in my shop. It's on the plate, and so people that say that, I mean, oh
So like what Paul's talking about here, if you zoom into a card, you see those dots, like on the naked eye, the card looks green. But when you're zooming in, you can actually see
yeah,
this like dot matrix. But
yes,
I don't think that's true for the back. Oh, wait, it is true. Okay.
yeah,
So there is a dot matrix thing going on here. Well, but again, maybe like a tiny, again, if you're fixing one white dot,
yeah.
I don't think it matters in that case. Like, I
No, but
think
I
if
was
you're,
saying what I wanted to say, and this is I'm just gonna say it here. I'm not gonna make a whole new video about it. They
yeah,
were saying that they would be able to tell because what the ink that was added isn't, it's a blob instead of under a microscope it would be like a smear instead of the dot matrix. I could get the exact same dot matrix plate made in my shop that has the same spacing and get it to transfer the blue ink to the blanket and get the back of the card and just go and it would have the
wow.
same.
I didn't
Yeah,
even think about that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
I'm not
insane.
doing that. But I'm just saying it's possible, and there are people that do crazy things. I mean, you just showed me the thing that you just pulled out. What is that's like a freaking digital microscope? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting? I just now noticed. So, okay, if I look at the card with this, there you can kind of see there's some dot matrix stuff happening, but once you get to that blue edge of the card, There's really nothing going on there as far as the
Oh,
dot matrix is concerned.
wow. So
You know what
it's
I
that.
mean?
So
It's
they
just
used a
flat
bold. Wait.
blue.
So
Cause,
that mean
cause
that tells me, wow. So that tells me that they used a. It's like no screen for that. So the border is actually just a thick image on the plate, not a dot matrix. So that you just proved all those comments wrong right there. We just did together. Congratulations, we're freaking wizards.
yeah, so that,
Yeah, it
um, that
yeah,
that's how they make that's how they're like mixing the white, because there's a white layer underneath,
yes,
right? So
yes.
to make this part of the Pokeball right here where it's a little more white to have that shine on the red part of the Pokeball is
Multiple
literally
plates.
just them letting the other stuff bleed through with that dot matrix, right?
Exactly.
But when you get
Exactly.
to this edge, that is pure
Solid.
blue. That's
Solid.
solid blue. So
Okay.
you're not gonna see that like that, and that's my point is people give these grading companies way too much credit.
Way too much.
They have these graders are like almost minimum wage guys that have 30 to 60 seconds to look at a card.
Yeah.
If you
And
think that, you know,
hangovers, hangovers, not getting laid the last night, like it's humans. That's why I think. What do you think about the AI grading?
I mean, if there's anything that's able to catch something like this, I would think that maybe, and I can't say for sure, but maybe AI or 3D scanning or something like that would have a better chance at detecting something like this than the human eye. Because I think, bottom line, with the time that people have to look at a card, they're not going to be able to see it. But tag and stuff like that, if they can scan, I think what's more important, and I don't know if Tag does this, but not scanning the front or back, scanning the edge, like actually scanning the sides of the card.
Yeah.
Because again, maybe at that point, at the ever so zoomed in level, you could see like either some of the blue, or maybe if somebody did put some sort of like buffer between the ink and the part that was dinged or whatever. My point, and but again, I'm probably giving Tag too much credit, but
Yeah.
at the same time, that would be like the only way to do it. Now, I will say as much shit that PSA gets, talking to this ex grader, because I actually paid an ex PSA grader to interview him to like get the inside scoop on what happens in the grading room, right? And he did say that PSA always has this stance of there will be a human holding your card, grading
Yeah.
it, giving it an eye appeal. So
I agree.
which I kind of like, you know what I mean? Like having this like completely dystopian, like no human involved does seem a little like what, but for something
Yeah.
like card grading, maybe it makes sense to have both. Like you
Maybe.
have all of the AI stuff, and then when it gets to the grader, they already have the information. And PSA kind of does some of this where they do scan the card. And from my understanding, things like the size of the card to make sure somebody didn't trim it is done by AI, and something else, but or centering. So they used to, before the scans, have to manually figure out the centering, but now when they get the card, the centering is already done for them, like how good of a grade of centering it is. But bottom line, after that point, it's on the PSA grader to figure out is there dents, dings, indents, things like that. And PSA in their new questionnaire, they said, "Would you be interested in paying extra for 3D scans?" Which is literally competing with what Tag does. So
Yeah. Did
they are
you
definitely
see?
going in that
I know.
direction.
Yeah. I know. I watched y'all's newer one, and the PSA is gonna wipe them down. I watched the whole podcast. That is just. I don't. I honestly don't think. I mean, wiping a card. First, I think it's a stupid tax. To be honest with you, I think it's a money grab and a stupid tax. All that, all the little add-ons that they're adding on. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, think of it like they're a massive company, and the easiest thing for any company to do to make more money is add-ons,
Yeah.
right? And so they're literally looking at it like we got all this freaking, we can't get big enough wheelbarrows under the money spigots right now.
Yeah.
How can we juice these people anymore? And they're like, why don't we throw add-ons on? And by the way, about that topic, I talked to an ex-grader, and he told me they didn't use like spray or anything like that, but they had a microfiber at their desk that they could wipe the card if they want.
Interesting. Yeah.
And he told me that he would take vintage Chrome cards from the 90s and they would look real foggy. And he would take a wet paper towel and he would wipe those and the fogginess would go away. I guess it's just the heat or how long those been stored. But bottom line, the graders can at their choice wipe your card for you. And I think what PSA is thinking now is going like, we're doing this for free. Like
We need
these
to start
graders are kind
charging.
of doing this for free. It's
Yeah.
taking time out of their day to kind of wipe stuff. Let's start charging the people. But the more controversial part in that
Yeah.
was using something to buff out minor scratches, which there's been interviews with the PSA president saying we'll never use polishes and blah blah blah, and now all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, do you guys want us to polish it?" And yeah, and so you know what, man, whatever. Bottom line, it's just kind of like a cluster, and it's created a huge divide. What's interesting, like, when I started this whole like card restoration
Yeah.
thing, I did not think it was going to blow up as big as it did. Like, I thought I was just basically going to get shed on until I just quit doing this.
Yeah.
But the outpouring of like, and the crappy part is a lot of people don't personally comment. They'll like DM me like, "Hey, I love what you do, but I don't
Secret.
want to.
Yeah.
I don't
I
want
want it to
people to
be
know."
secret. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
care. You don't either. It's
So,
great.
but yeah, man. I mean, so what's your next steps in Pokemon? Are you going to keep making content or
Oh, definitely.
like?
Yeah, I gotta keep making content. I love it. It's fun for me. Definitely. I I I think that anyone else that messages DMs me, I think I'm gonna link them you. I'm gonna send them to you and be like, no, I don't fix anything, but I know someone who does. So I'm gonna do that because I like you. I like your channel. I'm not in the. I have some questions about altering because I actually know pretty much nothing about it. I just had one question. When you use that magic stuff you're selling, what is it? What
Hyper
is it called?
potion.
Hyper
Yeah,
potion. You
yeah,
created that? That's your
yeah,
stuff? Okay.
yeah.
When you use that, I had a question because like the old school vintage hollow pattern, they actually printed on top of that hollow, right? So, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to follow you.
Like
Yeah,
so if you get acetone and you completely get acetone on a shop rag or a paper towel and you wipe the card, all the ink will go away and it'll just have literally the whole thing will be hollow pattern.
yeah, yeah.
So when you're scrubbing that stuff on the hollow pattern to like buff, I guess it's buffing out the scratches. Do you
Hmm.
have to do you have to go around the ink and only do it on the hollow pattern? Or can you do it on the will it remove the Pokemon? If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're saying. So, I don't have any acetone in this formula, but yeah, acetone's like super abrasive, and yeah, I've done it to where I've completely I've played around with that, and yes, you can completely remove all the paint from the like surface of the card. I want to show you something real quick, just so this kind of maybe answers your question a little bit better. This was a post I made a while back, but this first layer here on the top, there's a plastic film. Then underneath it is actually this hollow metallic foil. Okay, so if I zoom in here, that metallic
Yeah.
foil you're seeing, there's a a very thin clear plastic layer over the top of the card. I can show you what I mean by this right here.
What?
I so what I did is I used isopropyl alcohol and soaked a card, and then I peeled the front of this card off. You can see this is just a thin plastic layer that's on top of the card.
What
So what they do is
the heck?
they take this and then they glue that plastic to that hollow sheet, right? But yeah, it's just straight plastic, dude.
Wait a
Like
second. Are you This is blowing my mind right. So I'm in the printing industry, but we don't run those kind of machines here. I thought that I'm completely I thought that they were printing straight. Like I thought that the whole sheet looked like that, and they were printing straight on that. But there,
Nah.
it seems to be like there's a whole nother. What?
Yeah, I think because then what they can, yeah, because this see-through part on the plastic here is how the hollow stars shine through the card, right?
Okay.
But I suppose you're right. They could have done it the way you're talking about, but the way that Wizards of the Coast just created this, that's how they kind of ended up doing it. But yeah, you can see there's like a
Heck.
that metallic foil. This is more reverse hollows, but
Gotcha.
reverse hollows are exactly what you're saying, Paul. They take a like thin metallic sheet and print right on top of it,
Okay.
and then they just throw a powder coat right over it.
Got it.
But anyway, yeah. So the anatomy of a Pokemon card varies. You know what I mean?
That's
But
crazy.
yeah.
So when you're buffing out, you're buffing that plastic layer, not the hollow at all.
So you're buffing now. To your point, there is paint on the plastic sheet.
Yeah.
So if you do, and I in my instructions I say don't push hard,
Okay.
okay? Because if you think of a scratch, there's like, and we're let's say going on the micro level here, but let's say that's a scratch where my fingers are meeting, right? When you're buffing, all you're doing is kind of taking down to try to like even it out. Now, mind you, deep scratches where you can see the silver layer underneath that it's scratched so much that you literally can see that. So if I show you, see that silver
Yeah.
mark right there,
It went through.
all the paint's now gone, and now you can see that this stuff isn't going to fix that, right? This isn't smearing the paint
Yeah.
or anything like that. You're just trying to, so if like this is the paint, this is the plastic, and you have a scratch on it, there's enough paint there that you can buff it and reduce or remove if it's a very light scratch. I have a lot of before and afters showing like, dude, some it completely gets rid of, but it is dangerous. I mean, if
Yeah.
you go hard with this stuff, you can
It'll
remove
remove
paint.
the Pokemon. It'll take the Pokemon out.
I mean, uh, like acetone's way more abrasive. This stuff is a lot safer for sure. If you're rubbing lightly, this isn't going to take any paint off. But if you did it 5, 6 times, you'll start to see some paint transfer onto, your thing. So I say do it once or twice. Don't do it on the back because this isn't plastic. This is just straight paint on here, and you can easily start to see the white layer underneath if you use it on
So
there. But
I thought essentially I was thinking so it's kind of like headlight polish.
yeah,
Headlight
yeah.
polish.
The idea originally came from people using car wax or car wax,
Yeah,
car polish, whatever you want to
something like
call it.
that. Got it.
The ingredient I found is not a car product. It's actually a natural abrasive. But bottom line, all these scratch creams have some sort of abrasive in it
Got it.
to buff out because that's essentially what you're doing. The other way is a filler where you're trying to fill in the scratch. The problem with that is detectable. So if you take a UV light, you'll see the scratches of where they were. Going back to your UV light thing about painting
Yeah.
though, we did this on our Patreon. We looked at with the UV light, you
Not
could
even the
not tell
paint.
a difference. Not even paint, dude. The only way we were able to detect is literally by zooming in and seeing on the edge of the card that you can see ever
Wow.
so lightly the blue
That's
part.
actually incredible and dangerous. And I don't know. I don't really care honestly what people do, but uh,
I guess,
it's kind of crazy.
there's two schools of thought here. Like one, I guess if you're doing it for your own PC and you don't plan on selling the card, or let's say you do sell the card and you disclose it, have
Yeah, I
at
get
it,
it.
I guess. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but if you want to take it to that extent, fine. But I think where it gets really shitty is if you're gonna crack a 9, fix it, get the 10, and then flip it to some guy who doesn't realize that it's
Yep.
been painted, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, some people are just going to be doing that, and that's kind of the unfortunate part. But at the same time, that's why I want to share the details is like, okay, how can you detect this, right? And that's where I think it's important people realize, okay, if you're gonna be buying, especially raw cards, because raw cards are gonna be a hell of a lot easier to do this on.
Definitely.
But a graded card, good luck. I don't think you're gonna be able to tell whether it's been painted or not unless you crack it out.
Jeez, man, that's crazy. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm sorry I got so I didn't. I'm new to all the social media stuff. I didn't realize I should have been checking, Instagram, and it has the request. I didn't see any of them, so I clicked it and I had tons of requests. I was like, oh crap! Wait, that's that guy. I just watched his video.
So I want to show you something real quick, okay?
Yeah.
This is our Patreon episode, and it's going to be a little hard to see. This is the microscope. So I zoomed in on the edge of the card. This is the corner of the card that we colored, and it's kind of hard to see, but right here is where we colored it,
Okay.
and there's ever so lightly, like, let me see if I can get a little closer here. Let me move my mouse. See how there's a tiny bit of blue here on where the white was?
Yeah.
But the entire
Okay.
edge is white, but looking at it with the plain eye, you couldn't tell this unless you literally zoomed in and saw that this little tiny part has some of that blue bleeding through it. And by the way, I used my finger just like you to apply it. There's
Oh
probably way
yeah,
better ways of doing it,
toothpicks,
like
freaking little paintbrushes.
yeah, like super tiny paintbrushes, or even just like taking a freaking
Toothpick.
toothpick and just like, being surgical about it or something. But yeah, wild stuff. Yeah. I mean, so I'm curious, like, what kind of got you back? Like, what got you into Pokemon again? You said, do you have kids?
Oh yeah, yeah. My daughter. When I just probably back in when Pokemon Go came out is when we got back in and started collecting cards again. But I didn't have a very good job then, so it was limited. We were mostly just enjoying like the TV show and a couple packs here and there and playing Pokemon Go. But then probably sometime in Sword and Shield, I got a better. I started making more money and we got into it more heavily and yeah, we made a channel back in Sword and Shield, and then I my phone was really old and my laptop was really old and shitty, so we stopped making videos because it was really hard. They like videos kept getting corrupted and stuff.
It's
But then
hard.
yeah,
Yeah, making content's hard. People don't give what we do enough credit, man. Yeah.
nope.
So,
And yeah,
when did you start your print shop then? Was that back then?
well, I've always been in printing. My dad has been in it since he was 18, and so have I. We started this new shop out of my garage. I want to say it was in 2017, I think.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
almost 10 years now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, has it really
You're
been
you're
that
on
long?
you're on 8, I think, but yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. There's nothing better than working for yourself if you have the discipline. Some people ask me like, and I'm like, you think like you have more freedom when you're self-employed, but hell no. Like everything's on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't you can't really ever clock out in your mind. Also, it's kind of crazy.
I'm up till 2, 3 a.m. packing orders. I've got 3 jobs basically. I'm doing this
Okay.
Pokemon thing as a complete side thing. I'm a full-time programmer. I've got like a side business where I'm like building websites for people, and it's a
Awesome.
lot of work. And then I've got 2 kids myself. So yeah.
How old are they?
I've got a 15 and a 10-year-old boy and
Okay.
girl. So
Is
yeah.
your
I
okay?
have
My
pretty
daughter's gonna turn 13 this year, so oh man,
Wow.
yeah.
Damn. Isn't it crazy how quick they grow, man? I remember when my daughter was still shitting in diapers and now she's
Yeah.
asking for money.
Oh man, I feel it, man. Freaking skincare and stuff. I hate it.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I'm like, too not like social media is so toxic, man. That's the
Definitely.
problem with especially girls. I feel really bad for this generation. And I tried forever to ban TikTok and Snapchat. She's a smart cookie. She always figured out ways to get around it, and I don't know. It was a nightmare,
Oh
man.
yeah,
But
I
she's a good
definitely
girl.
I'm feeling all that pretty. right about now. She's about to go in seventh grade. So here we go. Pray for me, man. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, tell me about it. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's funny. So that's what got me back on Pokemon too. My kids were like,
Yep.
yeah, they were, wanting to bust packs and they were watching anime. I heard that they're gonna come out with a live action Pokemon anime on Netflix, either later this year or next year or something like that, which is insane.
Live action, as in like real people?
People, yeah,
Okay. Kind
yeah.
of like
And I don't know
Detective
how they're gonna do
Pikachu?
the Pokemon. Like that must be CGI, I guess. But
Have you
yeah.
seen the Detective Pikachu movie?
That was cool. I liked
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It probably will be like that. Probably that'll be interesting. Definitely.
Yeah, that'll add to even more of the hype. But I feel like we've reached kind of a peak here. You can tell even by prices are starting to slip. But this black and white set coming out, everybody's getting hyped about that. But I felt like Destin Rivals was going to be the peak, and I think I was
Oh,
kind of right about that. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it's always ebbs and flows in this stuff. Like, did you ever play the Game Boy game when you were a kid?
oh yeah. That's one. That's what solidified it into my brain. That freaking
Hell
yeah. I think
yeah.
Lavender Town music put me in a spell, and I just always love it or something.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Alakazam. Well,
Hell
whenever I was a
yeah.
kid, of course it was Charizard. I didn't even care about Alakazam because I didn't have any friends to trade with, so I didn't even know Alakazam existed when I was playing the games. But Charizard was my favorite. But as I got older, I mean, I like Alakazam a lot right now. So yeah, he's my favorite right now, definitely.
Alakazam is the shit. People don't give Alakazam enough
Yeah.
credit. Um,
What about
even
you?
in like their, go ahead.
What about you?
Porygon. Mine's a weird one.
Porygon, the seizure Pokemon, the Pokemon that killed
It
everybody.
wasn't because of that though. I just like computers and shit before I could walk. So
Yeah,
it spoke to me being like a digital Pokemon or whatever.
that's pretty cool.
But interestingly enough, like Alakazam and base set, I'm trying to find a picture here for you, but there's an interesting picture I saw of an uncut sheet, okay? Of in fact, I think I just found it. So check this out. I want to show you something because this is very interesting. I haven't really talked about this, but
Okay.
check this out. So here we have an uncut sheet of base set,
All
okay?
right.
And these are all the holographics that came in the sheet. One interesting point about this sheet is the rarity is kind of being displayed here to you. Okay, so we have Blastoise, Blastoise, Blastoise. There's three Blastoises. And then if we look at Charizard, there's one, two Charizards.
Okay.
Okay, there's only two. Take a look at the other rarest Pokemon next to Charizard is Alakazam. There's only two Alakazams on a sheet.
Interesting.
You have three. There's three Venusaurs. There's three Blastoises, but the only other one that
Mewtwo?
is Mewtwo has one, two. Yeah, I guess you're right. So Mewtwo is another one that only has two.
That's crazy. I've never
Yeah.
even I don't know.
Well,
I've never even
actually,
looked at
no, no,
that.
no. There's a shitload of Mewtwo's up here. My bad.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So yeah, these are all. This is Hitmonchan printed like crazy. There's Ninetales. There's Gyarados. Shitload of Mewtwo's. Of course, a shitload of the Machamps.
Oh man, those are
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. I remember somebody asking me like, "Dude, I've got a first edition
Yeah.
Machamp." I'm like, "Sorry to
So
tell
does
you."
everybody else.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that you might like that because Alakazam, I think, is slept on in base set because it's actually just as rare as Charizard.
Wow. Hey, that's interesting. I really, yeah, I like that. I can't wait to tell my daughter that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, will I be
Yeah.
able to watch this back or show people or link to this?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna actually take all of the because I've had a ton of lives with people who do what I do, like restoring and stuff like that. That's what really wanted me to get you on the pod, Paul, and to like talk about this. But I'm gonna put them on YouTube also.
Awesome.
So like yeah, I can send you a copy if you want to cross post it on yours too or whatever. But
Yeah, definitely do that. I would love to. If you'd let me, yeah, that'd be cool.
Instagram's crap. Like the problem with these lives on here that I'm finding out is like playing them back. Like it's tough to kind of skip forward and backwards and whatever. But I just started my social media on Instagram. I didn't start on YouTube, so I kind of got late to the YouTube game. But
You blew up.
uh, well, yeah, I know. Like, and it's shorts, man. I'm telling you. Like, you created a few shorts. Like, I like the one that you had Kurt talking about. You can't.
You got muted. I think you're muted. It muted you for some reason. Can you hear me?
Did I lose you?
Yeah, it just muted. I could see you, but
Oh,
I couldn't hear you.
somebody was calling me, and I didn't put do not disturb on. My bad.
Oh,
Where did
okay,
I
no.
cut off?
Kurt,
Oh, well,
video
yeah, so you
research.
made a video about Kurt, and he said you can't remove blue, and then you're like, bro, you
It was
can.
a perfect
That was a good
setup.
short, but what I was saying is you should make more shorts. Like that's the best way to get more subs. And here's the thing, I've kind of started in the short game, and I'm trying to go more towards the long format stuff because
Yeah,
some of this stuff you can't cover in a minute.
it's
You know what I
hard,
mean?
man. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard because then I make a long form and I'm like, I need to cut this up into. I was doing it in the beginning, but it's working full time and then trying to be a dad and be present. It's a lot of work. It is. It is a lot of work.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times either my daughter, my son, my wife walks into my office and I'm in the middle of something and they're talking and I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh, and then they leave and I'm like, what
What?
did they say?
Yeah, it's I
I
feel
feel
you.
bad, man. Yeah, that's why I try to tell them. I'm like, if I'm working, just like don't, yeah, like I need to be like
Yeah,
looking at, even if I'm looking at you, if I'm typing, like I'm
just
not
like
paying attention. Yeah, I
uh,
gotta,
yeah. What'd you
yeah.
just say? Yeah,
Yeah, multitasking isn't real, you know.
it's crazy.
Right, yeah. But hell yeah, man. Yeah, you rock. I mean, I love the video. It really got me thinking about like what's going on with this stuff in the community. And there's some shady people that are going to use this, but at the same time people are already doing it.
Yeah,
We just need to be careful about who, and maybe even to this extent, if you catch somebody doing this actually grading and selling, you should call them out. Like that is shitty. If they're not disclosing this, I mean it's kind of like not cool in my opinion. So, people have already blasted me for what I do, and that's fine. Because guess what? When people ask me at my vendor booth at card shows, have you done anything to this card? I straight up tell them.
yeah.
I don't lie about stuff because and dude, I've passed up thousands of dollars of deals from doing that, but I'd rather have the peace of mind that I'm being like
Honest.
moral in what I'm
Yes,
doing
honest.
than to have this like can't sleep at night feeling of some guy coming to the next card show being like, I saw this on your video, you
Yeah.
restored this, and whatever. So just disclose. I think disclosure is the biggest part. If somebody asks you, especially, so
Well, Josh, it's nice to meet you. I appreciate you having me on, and thank you. It's very cool. I'm going to subscribe to your Instagram and YouTube and all that, and hopefully we can keep in touch. Or it's great. I
yeah.
appreciate you.
Everybody on Instagram and YouTube, go check out AMPM Pokemon. How'd you come up with that name, by the way?
My daughter's name is Aubrey, and mine's Paul, and our last name starts with an M.
Okay,
So it's kind of like
got
a
it.
play on. It's kind of like a trick thing.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking about AM PM corner stores
Well,
or something like that.
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of like that, and then
Yeah.
like day and night. You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
from night to day, kind of play on words, kind of type thing. But yeah,
Yeah, go
thank you, man.
subscribe to AM PM Pokemon and we'll do this again in the future, Paul. I appreciate
Yeah,
taking your time to
and
talk to
quit
us
quit
today.
messaging me asking me if I do this. Go check out Josh.
I'm
He
not going
does
to do
his
it
stuff.
either.
No, I mean
I'm not painting your
anything,
card. I'm sorry.
anything. I meant the other stuff. The other stuff.
Yeah, 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 for sure. All
All
right.
right, man.
Take it easy, everybody.
See you.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.